sharing with us.
Hello, Mataka. I just want to say my name is Jimmy Hallum. We can crack with Chasha. That's my Dakota name. Means man who wears feathers for clothes. Uh, Santee, Nebraska, NYT, that's where I live. I mean, that's where I live at. I want to talk a little bit about this ride coming up. But I wanted to say something else. Today, we just come back from a little ride. We went to Canton, South Dakota. There used to be a place called the Hiawatha Indian Asylum. And we went over there, and I learned something today when I went over there. I always knew something about it, just a little bit about it, but then today was a whole other thing. A lot of the people were sent there for simply being who they were, failing. They wouldn't conform. They wouldn't conform to standards of today. They wouldn't. They spoke their own language. They followed their traditions. And maybe they spoke Chinoopa. And some of them were Cheshawaka. They were holy people. Holy. Like a medicine man or medicine women. And when I seen that today and I heard that, it made me feel really bad because I was thinking about they were taken away from their homes, and I wondered. And I had to say something, and I said, I wonder if they had children. And I wondered if those children wondered, when's dad or mom or uncle or auntie or grandpa, when they're coming home? Because these people didn't come home. They died there. I don't think anybody left from that place. And right now it's inside of right in the middle of a golf course. It's called the Hiawatha, it's called the Hiawatha Golf Course. And, it was really sad. It was really, really sad to see that, hear that, and this little spot. There was 120 something graves there, and there was 53 tribes represented there. Now, I just couldn't get over that, because all they did was live, try to not just be native, and they take them. It just made my heart feel really bad. But I wanted to share that with you, and I want to talk a little bit about the upcoming ride. And like Brian said, I am a Dakota 38 rider. I didn't go last year. The 2 years before we went, me and my daughter went the first year, and we had a really hard time. I had a really hard time because things happened. First of all, my horse went down, and it really messed me up. And I was, it hurt. I was hurting really bad. But my daughter, she was 15 then, and I told her, I said, we'll just keep going. So we kept going. And we were riding from Santee to meet the riders. We picked up some Yahantoa. Those are the Yankton along the way. And I remember my daughter saying, Dad, you go to the hospital. And I said, no, I'm all right. Then our truck broke down. So then we went and got another truck. Then that one broke down. Then we got another truck, and that broke down. And these were good trucks, And it made me feel so good because she was 15, and I was hurting really bad, and she wanted to help me, so she gave up all her blankets for me. And and to me, that's that spirit of the woman. And I'm going to talk about that just a bit. And when I told her, I said, you know what? I said, when we started this ride, I said, let's ride for the women that suffered at Coal Creek. Because what they went through was far worse than anything I could ever feel right now. To see your children dying in front of you, starving to death. To having soldiers coming at night and taking your daughters and you and molesting you. I said, for what they went through was nothing compared to what we could ever go through right now. that's how I felt on it. And so this year, we talked about this since then, about doing something like this. So this year we decided to do it, to ride for them and honor these women. You know, there was 900 women there at that. Well, that's how many showed up in Santee. There was more than that, but that's how many showed up at Santee, the survivors, Crow Creek. And then there were some children, but 300 children died there the very first 6 months while they were there, while the soldiers were there guarding them. You know, this was in 1863 while, you know, the Abraham Lincoln was in charge. And they knew about this. That's the bad thing. That's the sad thing. And what the women were going through was encouraged by higher ups to dehumanize the people. And you know what? And when I was about 20 years old, I heard a story. And these were Dakota men, older men, and they were telling a story and they were laughing about it. And I'm going to say this, and it's kind of graphic, but it's not too graphic to get shade on the radio. But they were talking about these girls running from these white men, and this was in Crow Creek. And what they were doing was running, and while they ran, they would pick up dirt and throw it inside themselves. If I said that right, if you know what I mean, they would throw it inside themselves so the soldiers couldn't do that to them. And they laughed about it. And to me, I think about that now. That dehumanization worked because it dehumanized these two men. Those were probably their great grandmothers or aunties or whatever. But to laugh about something your own people went through, that's dehumanization. And I think about that, and it made me feel so bad. And I think about it now. But this ride is going to start the 25th of this year. That's right around the corner, and we're going to ride for 6 days. And on that sixth day, we're going to rest, and we're going to have a sweat the next day. On that seventh day, we're going to have a sweat. We're going to pray, and then on the 1st of June, we're going to ride in to Old Fort Thompson. And we're going to gift the women today, the ones that will be there, to honor them. Because the ones that are going to be there are going to be the ones that are still taking care of their children, still. I'm trying to word this right. Still taking care of their children, feeding their children, protecting their children, and they would die for their children. That's the way I see it. And then when we're done with that, we are also going to have a memorial for these 300, because it couldn't have happened. It never happened because how could they? Because they didn't have nothing. We're going to have a memorial dinner, and then we're going to have a giveaway for them. Then when we are finished, we are going to have a wiping of the tears ceremony, because we're still carrying this trauma inside us, and it's so sad, because I see all the things that the people go through today. I see you see it in the schools. You see how the kids act out. We don't even know what causes it, but it's called intergenerational and historical trauma, and we all live through this. We're all walking with it. And unless we can do something to try to heal ourselves, like through wiping up the tears and addressing it, praying about it, we're never gonna get better.
Absolutely. My guest I spoke to at 4:00, Sandy Whitehawk, she has a similar ceremony that she does with adoptees and mothers and children and aunties, uncles, and she brings them all out on the floor of World Peace and Prayer Day and honors them, and then sings a song for them and welcomes them home. Everything you just say, all the trauma that has happened to the original people of Mother Earth here, it's to me, that's the deepest wound, and until that wound is taken care of, none of us are going to move further as a people. And all this healing that you're talking about, it's happening, and it's really great, and it's great to hear that. And but these rides, like you were saying, you're riding across on a horse across Nebraska. I don't know how long it is heading to where you're headed, but what I'm trying to say, these things cost money, and so how can we help you? I know that the gas and trucks and support, those things. How can we help?
Well, this. We want to gift the women. We want to gift the women, and we have raised some money, but we're still struggling. I recently asked our tribal council, and I don't know what they've said yet, what they're going to do. But we have a thing called the Dakota Indian Foundation, and that's at 209 North Main Street, PO Box 340, Chamberlain, South Dakota. That's 57325. And their phone number is 605-234-5472. And you can make a donation. What we're trying to do is the biggest cost here is just the gifts for the women, and all the gifts are going to be is a bag of rice, a bag of macaroni, a bag of food, a little bit of meat, and a gift, and a rose. And those last two, I think about what they went through. To have somebody give you a gift and something, and it's a gesture. I wish I could go back then and give this to them, but we can't do it today. But we can give it to the women today that are still trying to live the same life, doing the best they can to hang on to their language, hang on to their culture, hang on to their children, hang on to whatever they have for their children. And it's really hard because we see this today. We see a lot of broken homes. We see a lot of alcoholism. But I also see some really good women out there, really good women that are doing their best to try to hang on. And like I said, these will be the women that will be there. And everybody's invited to this. We have anybody, because we want to honor all the women, all the Native women that are doing this. And that doesn't have to be just Dakota. It could be Lakota, Dakota, Irikara, Mandan, whatever, wherever you're from. We want to honor you for what you're doing. And it's just it's kind of hard to talk about this, but then in a way it's really easy because this is just what we want to do for them.
Absolutely, and there's also a website called it's DakotaIndianFoundation.org, and you can go on there, and you can they have a lot of information. There's a place for make a donation to help out people on the ride. Can we talk a little bit about the ride? You said you're starting in Nebraska. How long is that route?
It's about 180 miles.
It's a long ride on horseback.
Yeah, it is a long ride, and, but we go about 30 miles a day, and then we're going to camp out along the way. And there's a couple of towns that I think we touched them because they've kind of been known as racist towns, like Chamberlain. They wouldn't let nobody do an honor ceremony. This year they did but we contacted them. And what they did was they opened the door for us. And what they did was they're going to let us stay at their campground. They're going to take care of our horses for us. They're also going to feed us. And from a town that wouldn't let them have an honor song, and that's a border town to the Crow Creek Indian Reservation. It's just like what we're doing is changing something. because we told them what we wanted to do, and that reporter said it brought a tear to her eye because they know that story over there. They know.
Yeah, and
they know that story, and well, I got to excuse me for a minute. My daughter's going into Walmart. we're at the Walmart, and she's going to go in there.
Oh, it's okay.
She was with me on that ride, and she has that spirit. You know, like I said, she gave me her blanket, and I just felt so. Made me feel so good to see that, to feel that.
Absolutely, and so is the ride's happening on May 25th, and you should arrive. You thinking a week?
Yeah, we'll be there. We'll be there the 30th. Our first stop is Marty, South Dakota. Then our second stop is what's called White Swan. Third stop is Platte. And our fourth stop is Elm Creek. And then fifth stop is Chamberlain, South Dakota. And our sixth stop is it's called Big Hand Sundance Ground. It's on the Crow Creek Indian Reservation, but that's where we're going to rest up, and that'll be on the 30th. And then on the 31st, we're gonna take that whole day and just rest and have prayers and stuff, and then in the morning we're gonna ride into Crow Creek, and everything starts at noon. I got a flyer right here in front of me. Let's see if I'm gonna read it a little bit. At 12 o'clock, we're gonna have a memorial dinner, and then we're gonna have some speakers. And there was a lady that wrote Survival at Crow Creek. And we want to honor her because I don't think if I hadn't read this, we wouldn't have done this because it talks about it. It talks about the cottonwood soup. It talks about how the women were being molested, and about the encouragement from higher up to do this, to dehumanize. Then at 3 o'clock, we're going to do the honoring and the gifting of the women alive today, the ones that are going to be there. And then we're going to have a giveaway for the children at perished. And you know, I want to say something. There's a prison right across the river from where I live, and it's called Springfield. But that's what the town is called. And Springfield, South Dakota. And they have a men's prison over there, and it's about 75% native. And they have powwows and stuff in there. And we too have a radio station, a small one called KZYK Santee. And I reach out to them. We do the music for them. We throw language in there all the time. I do everything I can for them.
You're also you teach at the local college too.
A what?
You teach at the local college?
Yeah, I'm an extension director, but we do a lot of extension. We do a lot of like beadwork, teach beadwork. We teach. We've had buffalo kills. You know, we name it, we do it. You know, as long as we had a horse race last year. This year we're going to do an Ultimate Warrior. That's not going to be the tough guy. That's going to be the Ultimate Warrior, the one that does everything, from wooing his woman to bringing home the food to putting up the teepee, everything. To helping not being that macho because our men weren't like that. So that's the Ultimate Warrior. We're going to have that during our powwow time. We do a lot of things to extension. But this prison, they reached out to me and they said they wanted to help. And so what they're doing is, you know, for these 300 children, they have a beading club. And what they're doing is they made me a bunch of beadwork, 300 pieces of beadwork, and we're going to use those for giveaway. And it made me feel good for them to do that, to come forward like that. And they said they wanted to help because we try to help them. We bring them wood for their flat. Bring them wood for their flat.
All right. So people can again help at Dakota Indian Foundation .org. And the ride is on May 25th, and they can join you at any one of those points that you were talking about.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we got people coming from Arizona, the different places. They're going to jump in on the ride. And
all right, well, I appreciate you taking time with our relatives and sharing with us, and If you could send me that flyer, I'll help send it around, and the people will know where you're at, and maybe can join you at each one of those points.
Bill, we also have a GoFundMe on Facebook. It's called the Honoring the Women's Memorial. It's on Facebook. It's under my name, Jim Hallum.
All right. We'll send that around too. And again, I appreciate you taking time with us tonight.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, you're fading out. But well, keep in touch.
Okay, Bill. I'll talk to you later, bud.
Okay, thanks so much.